Welcome, flip clock fans. You're looking at my newly acquired movie flip clock, the Bomba Alarm Clock, a clock that came out in 2007 and appeared in the 2011 Ryan Reynolds movie, The Green Lantern. When I get clocks like this, it makes me wonder why we collect the types of clocks that we do. If you're new to flip clocks, I'd suggest considering sticking to a particular type of clock that you really like, because, well, you'll never have all of them and it gets out of control very quickly. Speaking from experience. But in any event, my thing in collecting consists primarily of copal clocks, and any clock that I consider historic or pivotal in clock history, and movie clocks. The Green Lantern is one of those movies that you're evidently supposed to hate. Green Lantern is an American superhero film based on the DC Comics character. The film stars include Ryan Reynolds and Blake Lively, who are married now and have 3 children together and are expecting their 4th. One good thing that came out of this movie. From what I understand, critics felt the movie's comedic elements were out of place. Purists of the Green Lantern genre did not appreciate its departure from canon, and the CGI was not the best. In particular, the Green Lantern suit, but especially his mask, both which appeared automatically when needed. In the movie, it's made worse because Ryan Reynolds mentions how he feels the mask is cool. The thing about the Green Lantern is that in the comments section of most YouTube videos discussing the movie, you'll find several people stating that they really like the movie. It seems Green Lantern is like the rock group Nickelback. Many people say they hate them because all the cool kids have made it clear that you're supposed to. I recently watched the movie for the first time. It's definitely watchable. I've seen much worse. Of course, you'll find that Ryan Reynolds often jokes about how terrible the movie was. In Deadpool, he states, "Please don't make the super suit green or animated." And in the post-credits, Deadpool goes back in time and shoots Ryan Reynolds in the head when he's going over the Green Lantern script.
You're welcome.
You can see the clock in the movie once, although it appears at a distance a few times. I've included a link to the movie clip in the description which shows the clock. So here it is, the Bomba Alarm Clock. It was reportedly designed by a Dutch designer who made several steampunk-looking clocks, Wil van den Bos. On an eBay listing, a seller indicated that he felt the clock was modeled after a Polish-designed electromechanical machine. This device, in essence a type of mechanical computer, was used to help crack the German Enigma machine ciphers, ultimately leading to the shortening of World War II. In looking at the images of these types of devices, there definitely seems to be an influence here. I've sent a message out to the designer to ask. Maybe he'll respond. So the first thing I notice about this clock is that it's making a little bit more sound than I would like over here from the motor side. I'll get into that and see if there's anything I can do about it. Later we'll look at it. I see it's got a real gear look all the way around. And that's just all show and no go. These aren't external gears. This right here is the alarm. Turn the alarm on. We'll just see what that sounds like. And it's a pretty loud alarm. It's actually done by a bell. There's actually a bell there, and you see a second electric motor that rings that bell. It's terrible sounding, but that's all right. It just spins a little knocker around inside of that housing. Again, the gears on the right side there, they're not really gears at all. They're just decoration. And you'll see here in a little bit, I'll take that down and we'll see how that operates. It's really kind of not a good situation because if you grab a hold of that, you can actually arrest the motor. It's tied straight into the motor. You can see that the clock keeps pretty good time. No problems there. Again, it's just that sound, and I never do get it completely resolved. I think I might need to put some lithium grease in there. But again, we'll get in there in just a second. So you see the clock flips just fine. No problems there. This thing, it's not a really good design. That's just a real stiff alarm selector, if you ask me. You can see here on the back, this is where it plugs in. And there's a little knob here. It's a dimmer for these LEDs. Overall, not a bad clock. It's not something I normally would have gotten. But like I mentioned, I just wanted to get it because I saw it in the movie, or heard about it being in the movie, I should say. And here it is. So to get down into this clock, we're going to have to get this decoration off here. And you do want to power it down. Like I said, it ties right into the motor. You'll see in a second, these so-called gears have no purpose at all. The first thing you're going to have to do is get this E-clip off. I'm trying to make sure I don't scratch the so-called gear. It is plastic. It's a painted plastic. So once the E-clip is off, you just pull this straight off. Now there's a gear that kind of hangs in there, but I'm pulling it off of a stem. There, right there. That goes inside of here. And you can see that it would turn the outer gear one direction. It's going to turn the inner gear the other direction. No real reason for that. Goes on that post right there. And I could show you later that the clock does operate without that. It's pretty evident. This is just a plate that screws on the back of the motor. The decoration rotates on. That's all this does. You see the motor housing. It's just held in place by 2 screws. That's just me showing you that it does work without the fancy gears. So again, there's just 2 screws to undo here. Now what just fell out there is a spacer. There's brass spacers here. The gear that contacts the mechanism of the clock is right there. That doesn't have to come off. You'll see in a second. So to get this off, there are 2 screws that have nuts on the other side. Those nuts will fall out here in a second. Then this screw here just goes into the case. So there's 3 screws that hold the motor together. And you're going to open it with the mechanism gear downward. And if you carefully lift the top off, hopefully most of the gears will stay in place. If you push down on that post there, it can help you get it out. So this is the general layout of the gears. Hopefully you won't need that, but if you did take it apart and you forgot to take a picture, that's the way they lay out. And one of the posts stayed inside of here, one of the arbors. To put that back together, I'll get that out of the top case, put it inside of the bottom there. Now exactly what's making the noise, I'm not sure. The gear closest to the rotor, the part that moves, has angled teeth. The gear has angled teeth, which prevents it from going in the wrong direction. Well, there it is, the Greenlanter flip clock, the Greenlanter alarm clock, the bomb, the bomba, whatever you want to call it. It's a curious little flip clock, now part of the Flip Clock fans collection. Thanks for taking the time.